sponsors are amazing. I couldn't be happier with this company.
We absolutely love these cages.
One at a time, okay, guys?
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Coturnix Corner Live, actually a morning musings. Glad y'all could join us today. I really do appreciate it. Let's see. Don't think I've got a whole lot going on here this morning that I wanted to update you guys on. As always, big shout out to our sponsors. If I can get them up on screen, we got Gopher Ridge Quail Farm and Hatching Time. As you guys know, both sponsors give us or donate prizes to give away on the live streams. HP Murray over at Gopher Ridge Quail donates some hatching eggs, which will be given away today. And then also Hatching Time has a $50 Hatching Time gift certificate to one lucky winner. We will be shortly announcing the hashtag code to get you entered into that. And probably about halfway through the show, we'll do the Hatching Time, and then towards the end of the show, we'll do the hatching egg giveaways. Let's see the other sponsors that I want to give a shout out to. I'm doing this every week now on the live stream for the kids contest or the kids program. These are our sponsors. Without them, we could not do the kids program. Wholesome Harvest donates a 40-pound bag of feed. Southern Biophiliac and Big Spring Quail donate hatching eggs. They alternate each month. Sugar Feather Farm and Stellar Game Birds do the incubator. They send an incubator to the kids to get them started. Pips and Chicks and Champions Blend donate a $25 Tractor Supply gift certificate. And then, of course, Hatching Time sends out a 2-unit layer cage that the kids have to put together to get them started. We do have the July winner already selected, and I'm not going to announce it though until July. So it'll probably be, let's see, today's what, the 29th, which would make Tuesday, July 1st. So if I go live this Tuesday, we'll make the kids announcement then. Otherwise, it'll be next week, Sunday. But I think I do need to go live on Tuesday. We haven't done a Tuesday evening live stream in a while, and I'd really like to get that thing rolling again. Okay, let me get rid of this. Some of you... Oh, okay. A couple other things I want to mention. Gopher Ridge Quail has some specials going on now on his website. If you use the coupon code CC20, you can get a 20% off of your next order. Also, he's doing a 4th of July special, which I didn't see a coupon code for the 4th of July. So I think it's just if you go to his website and look for that 4th of July special. I linked it from the Coturnix Corner Facebook group, so you should be able to find that no problem. And then also check out HP's auction site. He's been doing quite a few auctions, the past few weeks. So it's good to see him get that up and rolling again. I did for those of you who know, I've got a little rescue dove that I found. I didn't find him. He kind of fell out of the sky. He got attacked or taken out of a nest by some crows. And as the crows were flying away, I don't know if another crow started attacking him to try to get the bird, or the doves tried to attack him. I don't know. But the bird fell out of the sky and landed right at my feet. And like an idiot, I've been taking care of the thing. So I've been taking him out in the woods for the past week or so, just trying to get him used to being out, in the wild, and, getting used to, searching for food and whatnot on the ground. And yesterday I took him out, and I was going to leave him. and I found a really nice spot, and I put him down. I actually shared a picture on my Facebook page for those of you who want to see it. I put him down on a branch, and I started walking away, and I didn't get 50 feet away from that bird, and he flew back and landed on my shoulder, and he sat on my shoulder all the way home. So I think I'm stuck with this bird. He's over here right now on my computer rack, just kind of hanging out there. So, all right, what else do we got? Oh, the websites, coturnixcorner.com and Gulf Coast Quail are down now. I just noticed that this morning. I did move, or I did find a web host. I haven't got everything set up over there yet, but I did find a new web host, and I put in the name server changes at my old web host, and they're pointed to the new web host, but there's nothing there. So if you go to gulfcoastquail.com or coturnixcorner.com, you're going to see a page not found. I'm working on it as hard as I can over the next few days, and hopefully I can get both of them back up and running. Let's see what else. For those of you, this past week has been kind of hectic. Actually, it's been hell over on the Facebook pages. We ran into an issue with Facebook. I guess it was their AI, believe it or not, was shutting down groups left and right. I mean, they shut down thousands of groups, including some groups that had 500,000 and almost 1 million followers, and Facebook was just shutting them down left and right. It wasn't really Facebook; it was their AI bot was shutting them down. So, but anyhow, after a whole bunch of drama, we finally got that back up and running. And speaking of drama, I didn't want to bring this up, but speaking of drama, I'm putting an end to it now on the Facebook group. If you're coming in there and you want to start drama, whether it's with me or anybody else, we're canning you from the group. I'm tired of it. I'm seeing way too much of it, and I'm just pulling the plug on it. So that's not, aimed at anybody in particular. It's just that any drama, you're gone, and there will be no reinstating you. So, all right, that's about it, guys. Like I say, we will be doing the giveaways here shortly, so watch out for the hashtags. I'll post that here shortly, and then we can do the giveaways. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and post them over in the chat room. Questions are... Hold on, let me turn this stupid phone off. Questions are welcome. If you got any questions whatsoever, go ahead and put them in the comment section, and we'll see what we can't do for you. All right, Marie's in the house, says good morning. Good morning, Marie. Glad you could join us. A&J Exotics says morning. Good morning, A&J. Maury Scrabble's in the house, says good morning from West Michigan Quail. Yeah, that was a pretty cool video you sent. Maury sent me a video this morning of his bobwhites out there in his aviary were singing and calling, and it was pretty cool to see that. I haven't heard a bobwhite call in quite some time. Bruce says, good morning from Northern California, where the vineyards meet the redwoods. Cool. I would love to get out there and see the redwoods. Tater Farms in the house says, good morning, my fellow quailers from a beautiful central Georgia. Are you guys getting any of that Saharan dust up there? We've got it right now. It's been over us for, I don't know, a couple of days now, and it makes for a really hazy sky. It gives you really neat looking sunsets and sunrises, but the sky during the day is kind of, it looks kind of bland out there right now. So, Costello Hobby Farms says, good morning from beautiful and muggy Alabama. I hear you on the muggy part. We got the same thing going on down here. Twisted Garrett's Farms in the house says, good morning. We have been dealing with multiple family issues and hopefully be back active again soon. Hopefully all is well. I hope you guys are well. I hope your family issues get resolved ASAP. I appreciate you checking in, Gage. And we finally broke into your jar of honey, and I will say that it's delicious. Okay, let's see. Downskin's in the house says, good morning from South Mississippi. Glad you could join us, Don. Always good having you in here. Viking Chick says, good morning, everyone. Costello Hobby Farm says, we had 4 quails so far hatch this morning from our own birds. Cool. Congratulations. Speaking of hatch, I had some turkey eggs I set in the incubator, set 7 eggs. It had to have been 20 some odd days ago. And I candled them the other day. And unfortunately, none of them, I think they just got damaged in shipping or whatever, but doesn't look like there'll be any turkeys this year. All Clean Exteriors is joining us from Michigan. Says, good morning, all. Good morning. Tony Nab's in the house. Good morning, you all. Morning to you, Tony. John says, good morning, everyone. Glad you could join us there, John. Why do I seem like I'm forgetting something? I don't know what the heck it is. Promised Land Homestead says, good morning from Missouri. Glad you could join us. Muddy Acres Homestead says, good morning. Good morning to you. Freight Hauler's in the house says, morning all. Dane Padgett says, good morning from Georgia. Good morning, Dane. Glad you could join us, and congratulations on the new grandchild, I believe it is. Congratulations. Jackal says, I have 3-day-old quail chicks. This is my first time ever. Cool. Congratulations. You're welcome to the addiction. It'll grow on you. I'll tell you that much. Nadia's in the house. Says, morning, everyone. Bluebird 1994 says, good morning. That bird's over there just chilling out. Redbird, come on, get your food. Get your food. Come on. Good. He's looking at me like, what do you want? Let's see. Bluebird says, good morning. Joe says, good morning from McDonough, Georgia. Glad you could join us, Joe. Paula says, morning, Terry and everyone. Lovely day and hot in Portsmouth, UK. Cool. Glad to see somebody joining us from across the pond. That's always welcome. There's Papa. Good morning, Papa. Papa says, good morning to everyone. Glad you could join us. Papa, did you get your hatching eggs yet from HP? Muddy Acres Homestead said crows are nasty. Yeah, actually, crows are pretty darn intelligent. I always wanted one for a, to have a pet bird, but I didn't know at the time. Florida does not allow any native wildlife to be kept as pets. I guess unless like corn snakes, they're native. You can keep those, but maybe it's native birds. But anyhow, I always wanted a crow because they're so smart, but they can be devious, I guess you'd say, because they're excellent at robbing nests and taking food that doesn't belong to them. It looks like Golden State Quail. Let me get down here. Golden State Quails sent a $9.99. I can't remember what they call those things. Super chat, maybe. Says, thank you for all the help with setting up and dialing in my DIY incubators. Good morning from California. Cool. Glad you could join us. And I hope you've got your incubator dialed in and working like it should be. Like I say, if you have any issues, feel free to, give me a holler, either email me or call me, and we'll help you work through it. Now I forgot where I left off up here. I got to come up with a marking system on this. Okay, we'll go right here. Nadia says, morning, everyone. Bluebird, seems I already read that. Says, good morning. Joe's in the house. Says, good morning from McDonough. Okay, now I know I did read that one. Paula Davis says, morning, Terry and everybody. I read that one too. Boy, I'm kind of lost here. There we go. Crows are nasty. Paula Davis says, it's 2 p.m. in the afternoon in the UK. Does anyone from the USA deliver eggs to the UK? Paula, I think you're going to find that Pretty hard to find somebody that legally ships to the UK. There's just so much involved in it, and the cost isn't worth trying to ship them. And then, if you do get them, they're going to be older eggs anyhow. I think the last time I had eggs come in from Germany, it took almost a month before it took a month, but they got tied up in customs for 2 weeks. So, yeah, I don't to answer your question, Paula. I don't think there's anybody that's going to be able to ship to you over there. Brian Allen says, "Good morning from Alabama." Morning, Brian. Herman Munster's in the house. Says, "Good morning. Glad you could join us there, Mr. Munster." Muddy Acres Homestead says, "I didn't know that doves were like stray cats. Feed them and they won't leave." Yeah, they are. The thing that I was mostly worried about, and I should have figured that was going to happen, was I found him when he was really young. I mean, he had an injury on his side. His skin was ripped open. One of his eyes was boogered up from probably the beak of the crow. But I should have known that having a bird that young and starting to feed him by hand, he was going to imprint on me. And we've got dogs, we've got a cat, and this bird is not afraid of any of them. And I don't want to get him outside and find out that, one of the feral cats around here got him and had him for dinner. So, yeah, it's, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm hoping that I can train him to stay outside. If he wants to hang around here and not leave, that's fine. But he's got to do it. He's got to learn to stay outside and feed himself and stay away from the cats without getting killed. Tater Farm says 38 in the chat, but only 8 likes. Please hit that like button to help the algorithm. Let's see. I'm going to refresh this page, see what we got now. Well, we're up to 17 likes, so that's better. Hit that like button, guys. It does help. YouTube actually shows, if they see, interaction on the channel, they actually show more of the videos up front in their recommended videos list. A&J Exotic says hello. Butterfly Me Waves in the house is morning from gorgeous Charleston, South Carolina. Glad you could join us. Bruce says, question, what size leg bands should I use on the jumbo Coturnix? I was using the 6mm on the standard size birds and young birds, and then the 8 on my jumbos. To be honest with you, I wouldn't even buy leg bands anymore. I would just go to Walmart and buy a package of those little 4-inch colored zip ties. Usually they come in like 4 or 5 different colors, and you can get a variety pack. That way you can use them kind of to mark your birds or separate your birds, by age or whatever. Also, the nice thing about the bands though is some of the bands are numbered, and that can really help you when you're sorting birds and whatnot. If you see a bird that's particularly nice, you can make note of that number and then kind of watch it as it grows and whatnot. So, but yeah, anyhow, it was 6 and 8, 6 for the younger birds and 8s for the larger. Gary says, good morning from De Leon, Texas. De Leon. This is De Leon. Glad you could join us, Gary. Costello Hobby Farm says, question, we've been in the high 90s and high 70s at night. With my chicks coming out of the incubator, do I need to put a heat lamp over them, or should I just give it to them overnight? I would supply a heat lamp all the time to them. Keep it down to the far end of the brooder. Make sure that the food though is not too far away from the heat lamp, because sometimes if they are chilled and they get underneath that heat lamp, sometimes they won't leave the heat to go feed or drink. So keep it close enough. Don't keep it so close that it's hot, and to where if they're not underneath the heat, they're not going to go to the food either. So maybe the heat lamp at one end, your food in the middle, and then the cool end on the other side. You want to watch your chicks. They'll tell you whether or not they need that heat. If they're at the far end of the brooder, staying away from the heat, then obviously you don't need the heat in there then. But if they're always huddled underneath the heat, then yeah, keep the heat on them. Buck says, good morning from Oklahoma. Glad you could join us there, Buck. Goat Ridge Quail, good morning. All still alive, got to run. Have a great day, everyone. Glad you could join us, HP. Much appreciated, all that you do for the channel. And have a wonderful day. Promised Land Homestead says, yes, the honey we got from Twisted Garrett's farm was very good. Yeah, it was. I just did an extraction, what was it, 3 weeks ago from mine. It wasn't a big pull. I think I pulled like 1.5 gallons of honey just to make room because they were starting to get honey bound. But yeah, it was really good. We finished off 1 bottle of that, and then we opened up the Garrett's Farm honey, and it was enjoyable. Philip says, good afternoon from Norway. Cool. Another one from across the pond. Glad you could join us there, Philip. Paula Davis says, hi, Maury. I've got 4 snowflake plus 1 northern bobwhite and the male and female touch to get together in the cage. Lovely. And I've got a mixed baby bobwhite. Lovely, that breed. Yeah, I always wanted to do bobwhites. As a matter of fact, when I first got into quail, that's what I was looking at was bobwhites. But after researching, finding out, you need a flight pen and that stuff, I don't have enough room here to do it. So I lean more towards Coturnix. Tater Farm says, yep, we're getting in touch of the Saharan dust. You're right, Terry. It does improve the sunrise and sunset. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, it does that. They announce it on our news whenever we have the Saharan dust overhead, and everybody sends in their photos of the sunsets, and they show it on our news stations. Freight Holler says, everyone says that you need 1 male per 5 females to keep the males from overbreeding. So what criteria do you use selecting a male when you only want a breeder pair? How do you stop overbreeding? Okay, with a breeder pair, you're most likely going to get, especially if he's a really overactive breeder male. But with a pair, you're probably going to notice that your hen's got feathers pulled out of the back of her head, maybe a little bit of feather wear on her back. Let's see. Everyone says new. When I'm selecting my male, first thing I always look at is the health of the bird. You definitely want a bird that is, structurally sound, no signs of illness or, carrying any types of genetic defects. Nice, bright, clean eyes. Look at the beak. Make sure it's, not an overextended beak or, partially scissored beak. Just you're looking for the healthiest male you can find. You're not necessarily looking for the largest. A lot of people think that because they're breeding jumbos that they want the largest hens and the largest males. The problem with going with a really large rooster is they beat your hens up even more. So, for a 12 to 13 ounce rooster for a jumbo is perfectly okay to use as a breeder. If you're breeding for color, after the health aspects, then color would be the next thing that I'm looking at. But yeah, if you're just, like I say, if you're just going to keep a pair, if you're just going to keep a pair, try to find a rooster, that's really mellow, one that's not overly aggressive and trying to breed, left and right. Because you don't want your hen getting beat up. And roosters can be pretty rough on hens. Jackal says, thank you, brother. I'm surely addicted now because I ordered 90 more fertilized eggs. Yeah, welcome to the addiction. Papa says, I got my first eggs this week. Did my first cull yesterday, 6 bully roos. Yep. Well, congratulations on your first eggs. Yeah, you do have to do a lot of culling with Coturnix. Tater Farms in the house says, have a blessed day, HP. Absolutely. There's our Golden State Quail. We already read that one. Appreciate it. Marie says, patiently waiting on my juveniles to start laying. You know, I'm kind of jonesing because I don't even have any quail here right now. I need to get somebody to send me some so I can get my quail going again. Jack says, I have used your videos to make a DIY hutch. I'm waiting for the epoxy paint to dry. It looks pretty practical. Cool. Promised Land Homestead says, yes, super chat. Thank you very much. Paula says, years ago, I had a rook baby found in the garden in a bush. We put a crate with a branch for the perch. We fed him, took him outside a couple times, and then he flew away. That's what I was kind of hoping with this thing. I was hoping, because I've taken him to the woods now, half a dozen times or so. And I was just kind of hoping that, he'd be out pecking around in the dirt and then he'd take off and fly off and be on his own. But he watches me really close. And I noticed when I was walking away, I had my back to him and I was walking. And, when doves take off, you hear that weird fluttering noise. It's like a whoo as they leave. And I heard that and I'm like, oh, here we go. And sure enough, he landed right on my shoulder. And then we walked, I don't know, probably maybe, 100 yards into the woods. We walked out and he sat on my shoulder all the way back to the truck, got in the truck, fired it up, and he still sat there. And I'm like, you're hooked, bird. You're not going nowhere. What are you doing there, buddy? I don't know. How did I get myself into that? Dermot says, morning from Iowa. First time managed to make it to a live. Well, I'm glad you made it. And welcome to the first live stream. And thanks for joining us. Paula says, we had the rook for 3 months. Wow. Yeah, I've only had this bird maybe a month. Doves grow really fast. I was surprised. I didn't know it, but doves actually leave the nest at 2 weeks old. They kind of, I don't know if they fall out of the nest or they practice fly out of the nest and then they live on the ground. The parents still take care of them, but they live on the ground without going back to the nest, which I thought was kind of weird. Muddy Acres Homestead says, we're in Iowa. I moved from there. I guess not talking to me. Philip says, I have Texas quail, 60 days, 11 females, get an average of 5 to 7 eggs a day. Will they lay more later? Yeah, I'm sure they will. I don't know what a Texas quail is. Is that a variety of Coturnix? I don't know. I don't know what they are, but 60 days would be, 2 months old. So that's only 8 weeks. Yeah, I would give them, if they're anything like Coturnix, 10 to 12 weeks, even longer, even 16 weeks before they start laying, regularly. A lot of it depends on your daylight hours, but this time of year, you got plenty of daylight. Stress is a big factor when it comes to birds laying eggs. If they're stressed out, a lot of times they'll go off lay for a while. So, all right. Andy Rabbit's in the house says, good morning. Good morning, Andy. I'm glad you could join us. Andy, I don't know if you noticed yet, but Coturnix Corner is down as of now. I will be working on it to get it back rolling again. I've got to get it back up and rolling because that is where we hold our Coturnix Kids program out of. Farmer 1956 in the house says, good morning. Glad you could join us. Golden State Quail says, chicks started hatching out today. So far, 20 out of 100. Cool. Keep your fingers crossed, and hopefully you'll get another 80 to hatch. That would be cool. Hilltop Honey says, from Kentucky, says, good morning. Glad you could join us. Andrew Rabbit says, it's okay to have a friend dove. I don't mind having the dove as a friend, but I do mind having him in my computer room where he poops on everything. Come on, get up here. Bird. Come on, bird. Yeah. Come on, everybody wants to see you. Get over here. Bird. Well, he's up. Maybe he'll fly up here in a minute. Andy says, my mom had a pair she raised. They stayed at her house forever. Even outside, she let them go free. but they stayed close. I mean, I don't mind that at all. If the bird wants to hang out here, and call this home, that's fine. But we've got an awful lot of feral cats. And the thing that I'm worried about is this bird shows no fear when it comes to, my dogs and our cat. And I'm just afraid that, he or she, whatever it is going to end up becoming lunch for a feral cat. All right, guys, I just noticed we are halfway through our show. Let's go ahead and do a drawing for a Hatching Time gift certificate. If you want to comment hashtag Hatching Time, all lowercase and all one word, we will go ahead and do the drawing in a couple minutes here. I'll take a couple more questions. That'll give you guys time to put your hashtag Hatching Time in there. Looks like we got a whole bunch of people commenting Hatching Time. I'll give you guys a few more minutes on that. Muddy Acres Homestead said probably Texas A&Ms. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that, but I didn't want to say it because there really are no Texas A&Ms. But anyhow, yeah, as far as laying eggs, just be patient. I'm sure they'll pick up for you. Philip says, thanks for the good answer. Absolutely. Viking Chick says, morning doves mate for life. You may be his only family. Can he go in your aviary? Maybe just modify the aviary with purchase or whatever doves need. I actually did take him out in the aviary last week, and he scared my chickens to death. The big Brahma chickens, which are 10 times bigger than that little bird. I guess I don't know what they thought, but he was up on the perch where the chickens perch. He flew down to the ground, and they all ran to the other side of the aviary. And then the bird decided she wanted, or he, whatever it is, wanted to follow them, ran over there, and they ran like chickens. I mean, they were scared to death of this thing. So I've got another box out there that's wired that me and Maury built. I think it was for the chickens when they first were pulled out of the brooder. Come here. Come on. Can you guys see him over there? There he is, sitting on the corner of the bed. But, yeah. All right, Andrew Rabbit says, yep, the website does need to get going again. It's way better than Facebook any day. I agree too, Andy. We need to get that website up and running. I was really nervous last week when Facebook shut down the Coturnix Corner group. And I was thinking, this is all I've got left is CoturnixCorner.com as far as the social media site left goes, because I was not, if the group on Facebook would have been shut down permanently, I was done. I wasn't going to try to start another group. It's funny because they shut down Coturnix Corner, which they said it was for, and this is funny, they said it was for adult content and sexual something. And they shut that was their excuse for shutting it down. Yet they didn't shut down Coturnix Corner Marketplace, which goes against their what do they call it, community standards, because people are selling hatching eggs there. So I don't know. All right, let's go ahead and do our giveaway of the hatching eggs. And let's see, go to share screen. All right, choose a live stream. Uh-oh, I forgot I got to do this. Hold on, I got to stop sharing this. Sorry, guys, I messed up. Giveaway tool. There you go. I had the giveaway tool open before I went live, and I found out that you can't do that. So share screen. There we go. All right. Hashtag hatching time. Let's see how many comments. Looks like we got 33 entries. Yeah, okay, we'll accept the cookies. And the winner will be Viking Chick. You are the winner. Very cool. All right, Viking chick, send me. I got to put my email address over in the chat room. I got to use my personal email because Coturnix Corner is now shut down, so that email isn't working at the moment. So it's kc4tm@comcast.net. All right, let me go down to the bottom here and I'll put that on the screen. There's my email address. Viking chick, send me your shipping information. Make sure I get a good email address and your name, not just Viking chick. Put your name in there. I will forward that tonight over to hatching time, and probably tomorrow sometime you will get your gift certificate. They email it to you, so keep an eye out for that. Okay, where are we now? 20 Acres Homes is probably Texas A&M. Yep. Oh, I already read that. Okay, there was our last one. Phillips says Texas A&M is the breed, the biggest bird. Yeah, there's a lot of confusion going on when it comes to talking about Texas A&M birds. Texas A&M birds are not a specific bird. Texas A&M is a line that the Texas A&M University, they were doing a test and they actually gave up on it because the test failed. They were trying to come up with a large bird, light colored, which is why they selected the dotted white for it. A light colored bird, so you get a light colored meat. And anyhow, Texas A&Ms do not exist. I mean, a lot of people call the dotted white the Texas A&M, which is fine. I mean, if that's what you want to call it, that's fine. But unless somebody actually kept some of that line from back when they were doing those tests and kept the line clean for 20 plus years, they just don't exist anymore. So, come here. You want some food? Come on. Yeah, come here. Yeah. Come here. Here's your food. Look, here's your food. Being a weird bird. All right, here we go. Hilltop Honey says, had a good hatch this week. 43 out of 51. Nice. Had a bad storm and lost power for 3 hours before hatching. That is an excellent hatch, especially with a power outage. Paula says, good luck, everyone. Don says, doves mate for life. You are the chosen one. Crazy. Henry Rep says, Terry, you needed to enter the egg giveaway. I do, but then somebody would think I was cheating. No, I'm kind of picky on what I'm getting for eggs. I really like the Roux gene, so I will most likely get some Egyptians, again, jumbo Egyptians. And Tony says, there's the dove. Paula says, he or she looks sweet. Does anybody know how you tell? Come here, bird. Come here. Get away. Come on. Now he's on the floor. Anybody know how you tell the difference between, I mean, once they get older, I think I can tell, but right now I don't know. Come on, bird. Bird. Okay, where are we at? Andrew Rabb says, congratulations. Viking Chick says, thank you very much. Absolutely. Again, here's my email, Viking Chick, just in case you missed it. Muddy Acres Homes says, congrats. That's like twice you in June that you won. Really? I don't remember. Did she win before? I don't remember. But I mean, that's what we're doing now. We're using that giveaway tool just so people can't say that I'm cheating. And I was having a hard time remembering who won before and who didn't, so I would just as soon let that thing pick them. And if somebody wins, multiple times, good for them. Philip says, I have no idea. The seller did not tell me that. I was after a Euro quail. Yeah, I mean, it's a common misconception. I mean, I wouldn't even worry about it, but just so you know, for future reference, that there are no Texas A&Ms out there. Some people still call them that, but they just, I guess it's being too picky to worry about them. Hunter says, recently moved to a warmer part of the country. How much do I have to worry about the heat with adult Coturnix being kept in the shed? Would ventilation fans be sufficient to keep them through the summer? It all depends really on how hot it gets in that shed. I keep quail outside all the time, and it's regularly in the mid 50s with heat indexes in the triple digits, and they do just fine. If they're going to be in a shed, preferably that shed's in a shaded area, but definitely, put some ventilation fans in, one bringing it in, one sucking the air in, one drawing it out. What you doing, buddy? And monitor them. If they're panting heavily all the time, I would come up with something. I mean, I had a buddy of mine. He had a small shed in his backyard, right in the middle of his backyard. He's in Lehigh, Florida, or Lehigh Acres. And it was hot enough in there that he had to actually install an air conditioner in there to keep it cool. So, yeah, monitor your birds. They'll pretty much let you know. Texas A&M, like the JMF line, that is almost gone now too. Yeah, that's the only scary thing about. I mean, because we don't have. There's really only two JMF referral farms left. Kansas City Quail Farm and Anita Garrett from AJ Farms. I don't know Michael Rose. He's a referral farm, but I don't know if he's still keeping the JMF line. But yeah, I thought about that. Eventually, I don't think the bloodline will ever be gone because they've sold enough of that jumbo line that there's plenty of people out there breeding them. But to be able to use the JMF moniker, you had to have attended one of Robbie's classes. Great Holler says, do you wait to get your eggs first before you switch over to layer feed, or a next of growth versus layer, or do you start before the eggs, like around 6 weeks? That's the way that I tell is when I foresee the first egg laid, then I start transitioning them over, and I won't take the 30% grower or starter feed out. I'll just add the layer feed on top of it and kind of let them transition into it. That's because I was using the J feeders. Now, if you're using like a trough feeder, what I would do is pour some of the layer feed into that and then just mix it up with your hands so you get, a blend of the two. But yeah, usually, I mean, you could start a little earlier because, 6 to 8 weeks they're going to start laying anyhow. But getting that first egg, that's a telltale sign that, they're ready for it. Viking Chicks and Muddy Acres, you're right. HP's eggs hatched out and are now in the aviary with the others and laying some eggs already. I'm very grateful and thankful and lucky. So cool. Eddie Rabbit finds something awful funny. Tony says, well, got to go take care of the birds. Y'all have a great week. You too, Tony. Thanks for joining us. Much appreciated. Muddy Acres Homestead says, Viking Chick, that's awesome. Viking Chick says, I won HP's eggs the beginning of May. Cool. Homestead Matter says, with the summer heat, I've pulled the heat plate from the brooder at 1.5 weeks for the last 2 hatches. Yeah, I can pretty much do that too down here. I'll take the light off sometimes at the end of 1 week and just turn it on at night, because the temperature drop a little bit more. But yeah, usually by the end of the 2nd week, they're fully off the heat. Philip, how do they handle cold? We average 14 Fahrenheit, and some winter to minus 13 degrees Fahrenheit have been the coldest. They're really good at handling cold. I mean, we got a lot of people up in Canada that keep their birds even outdoors in the cold, as long as they can get out of the weather. Like maybe have a part of the cage that's enclosed to where they can just get out of the wind and the rain and snow and whatnot. Yeah, they'll do just fine. The only thing, it probably helped to have, multiple birds in that cage where they can kind of huddle together a little bit if they need to. Andy says, it's like the Tumac rabbits. A breeder can change the line in just a generation or two. Yeah, there you go. All right. Philip says, we will have some heat in the room. Yeah, you'll be fine then, Philip. All right. Well, we're down to the bottom of the list, or bottom of the chat room. Let's go ahead and do our hatching egg giveaway, and then we can pull the plug. So the hashtag for the hatching egg giveaway is going to be, we'll just keep it the same. Hashtag Gopher Ridge. All one word, all lowercase. So get your entries in now, and in a few minutes, we'll go ahead and do the drawing for that. Why are you pecking at my foot, Bird? Get here. Get here, buddy. Get over here. Yeah. Silly bird. All right, we'll give that a minute. What else do I got going on? The bird is down there on the ground pecking at my sock. All right, guys, get them entries in. I did talk with Bree Pets. She's from Pips and Chicks. She also does the online poultry show. I talked to her privately. She said she's willing to come on the show to do another live stream. So let me talk with Bree and see if she's available Tuesday. Maybe we can get her to come on, and we'll find out what's going on in her life. Frank Holler says, if you get new quail, are you going to keep them in the garage? You mean on my carport? No. Originally, that's where I kept all my birds, but now the carport is basically a shop. I mean, I got all my woodworking tools out there. I got my big CNC machine out there. I got 2 lasers out there. So that is basically going to be for the new incubators for the original kit incubators and the new incubator I'm in the middle of designing right now. We're going to, I'm hoping to have it done and tested by the end of this year so I can release it the first part of next year. But yeah, we are making a new model incubator. So like Chick says, that dove of yours is now for real. You have a new family member. I don't want to hear that. All right. The dove needs a name. I call him Bird because I don't know what to call him. And I didn't want him to be a pet. I mean, I got to get rid of this thing. All right. Let's go ahead and share the screen again. Giveaway tools, share. We got to go back here. Hashtag GOPHERRIDGE. Go for it. Start collecting comments. All right. Again, we have 33 comments or entries. The drawing is going to go to, or not the drawing, but the hatching eggs. Hunter Stevens. All right, Hunter, I need you to send me your shipping information to, I'll put my email up there again. It's kc4tm at Comcast, if I can spell Comcast.net. Make sure I get a good email, a good phone number. A lot of people forget that phone number, and of course your shipping address. And I will get that forwarded over to HP and get you some hatching eggs on the way. All right, let me go back and check and see if we got any new comments. If not, I am going to pull the plug and go make me some breakfast. Let's see, Freight Hauler. No, Freight Hauler. Where I'm gonna keep my, quail out in the aviary. I'm either going to build a new aviary or a new chicken hutch. I think I'm going to just build a new chicken hutch to move the chickens into, because I think there's 9 chickens out there, and I'm going to end up having to butcher, half of them. So I can build a small coop for them, and then I'll just use the aviary for the quail. All right, where are we here? Viking Chick says, congratulations, Hunter. Tater Farm says, congratulations, Hunter. No Top Honey says, congrats. A whole bunch of congratulations. Andy Rabbit says, my cat is eating my cherries. Wow. I never thought a cat would eat a fruit like that. Tom says, I'm having an issue with bumblefoot in my coops. Any suggestions? Yeah. Your flooring is most likely the biggest cause of foot issues with your quail. Depending on what you got, a lot of people are using like 1/2 by 1/2 uncoated wire. That's no good. You'll definitely have foot issues with that. The only thing that I found that actually worked really well was 1/2 by 1 inch coated hardware cloth or coated wire. You can get it at fencerwire.com. You can also get it off of Amazon. But yeah, change out your wire. If you can't change your wire out right away, put something in the cage, like a piece of plywood or something that they can get off the wire for their feet, or even a sand bath. If you've got, a container that you want to use as a sand bath, that'll work too. Tater Farm says, enjoyed meeting Bird. Have a wonderfully productive week, everyone. Yeah, thanks for joining us today, Tater Farm. Much appreciated. Mr. Mata says, are quail and quail eggs with coccidiosis safe to eat? I wouldn't. I've never had a quail get coccidia, but I'm not saying that they can't get it, but I've never had one get it. And if I did know that one had it, I probably would not eat them or their eggs. I'm kind of picky that way. Andrew Rabbit says, I know I have weird animals sometimes. Paulo says, you can call your dove Tweety Pie. There you go. That's an interesting name. All right, that brings us down to the bottom of our list. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I see a whole bunch of people have already split, so we'll go ahead and pull the plug. Keep an eye, guys, on the Facebook group. We don't have CoturnixCorner.com right now. It's temporarily down, but I will announce it over on the Facebook group page. What's going on for Tuesday? I'd like to do a live stream Tuesday because that's July 1st, and I know that the winner of the Coturnix Kids program is really interested in, finding out that they won. So, Papa says, good day, all. Off to work. Looking forward to the next live. Be safe. God bless. You too, buddy. And thanks for joining us, Papa. Paula says, have a great week, everyone. You too, Paula. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me today. Really appreciate it. I had fun. And we'll see you either Tuesday or next week, Sunday, for sure. Have a great one.